Merry Christmas, everyone. Welcome back to another collection update video for you guys today. Now, I'll be blunt about this. I've been holding off on this for a while since I last announced my video game collection update. But, wise man once said, better late than never. Never. Now, before I get started, I got a few titles and a soundtrack that I think I missed out on. I forgot to show you. First up is a soundtrack CD from a movie that I've watched somehow recently. And that is the original soundtrack for, I'm not sure it's entirely the original soundtrack, but it's music from the movie I've just watched. That is About Last Night with Rob Lowe, Jim Belushi, Demi Moore, and Elizabeth Perkins. I almost forgot about the names, but it doesn't matter. It's got a solid selection of songs, my personal favorite being So Far So Good by Sheena Easton. If I could get it to focus. Pardon me, just Microsoft Edge keeps popping out the Twitch tab for some reason, so randomly. Gets me every time. But not a big deal. But it can be pretty irritating. Pardon me, just something crossed my mind. But it doesn't matter. Next up, one thing I also got from Goodwill is The X-Files, the complete 8th season. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this DVD set has all the special features that were present from... Wait a second. Just trying to make sure. Yeah. At least I hope so. Come on. I think that's it for now. Just had to make extra sure. Next up is a 1995 family drama with Matthew Modine, Nancy Travis, and Eric Stoltz. That is Fluke. Now, from what I can recall, the synopsis, the premise sounds pretty interesting to me. About a father who somehow died in a car accident and has been just reading what the premise says on the back. We reawakened as a dog and has been adopted by the father's family. So I'd like to give it a shot. Next up, for the Chuck Norris collection, that is Top Dog. According to this DVD cover on the back, a maverick cop played by Chuck Norris is convinced his career has gone to the dogs when he meets his new partner. Again with that. So, for sure, Chuck Norris partners with a dog named Reno and are joining forces together to stop this brutal white supremacist plot. So I think that's it. Now I gotta be honest, the disc, if I can get this to focus. I think the disc, not sure if you see any scratches or, how would I say it? The disc has seen better days, but hopefully it is playable and it can still play the whole movie. Interesting plot. Do you like me some Chuck Norris? Just gotta make sure I have all my games and all my movies. Gotcha. Alright, first up I'm going to show you the movies. Oh, wait a second. I think I forgot a couple things to add to the stack, but you know what they say. Better luck next time. In other words, I'll be showing them next time in my next collection update. But can't let this delay my collection update, current collection update to be exact. But next up I got from eBay is an out-of-print Scream Factory double feature called The Terror Within 1 and 2. Now, I remember seeing parts of the first Terror Within back on the Sci-Fi Channel, but I did not see the second Terror Within all sci. Well, I take it back. I've seen a few clips of the second Terror Within on YouTube, and would like to give the first Terror Within a chance along with the second one. I do remember the first one being interesting. Now, aside from trailers, this doesn't have more special features from what I can recall, if I remember correctly. And they're once released as a limited run title, which I really don't get why they decide to release some of their Roger Corman titles for a limited run, specifically these. But I wish they give them full-time releases. Which, speaking of Roger Corman, they are releasing both Galaxy of Terror, which I remember is and Humanoids from the Deep, which includes both theatrical and unrated cut in one set. So I am leaning towards getting Humanoids from the Deep, because from what I've seen in the trailer and clips on YouTube, looks interesting. But moving on, getting sidetracked, so I digress. Next title on my stack right here is an obscure George A. Romero flick that is not exactly horror. It is Night Riders, which features a very young Ed Harris, and as well as other people that will likely appear in some of Romero's flicks later on, whether they be lifelong collaborators or not. And Ed Harris, who isn't a collaborator of Romero but will appear in Creepshow right after this for certain. Tom Savini, who is the makeup effects artist behind Dawn of the Dead and Day of the Dead, and some of his other projects, including Tales from the Dark Side for sure, and Night of the Living Dead remake, which Savini directed and Romero had produced. John Amplis, who was in Martin and Dawn Day of the Dead. Patricia Tallman in Monkey Shines. Hold on a second. Patricia Tallman. I knew it. I knew she was in the remake of Night of the Living Dead. Even Ken Foree, who was one of the SWAT team members in the original Dawn of the Dead. And fun fact, Stephen King makes a short appearance in this one before he and Romero collaborated on writing stories for Creepshow. So yeah, here's some interesting trivia. But moving on, next up is another limited run title. Not exactly a Roger Corman title, but it is non-horror, directed by Stuart Gordon. It is a sci-fi action-adventure flick with Dennis Hopper, Stephen Dorff, and Charles Dance, to name a few, and that is Space Truckers. Now, I've seen a few clips here and there, and looks interesting. And I do like some of the actors featured in this movie. Dennis Hopper, great actor in Speed and many others. I have yet to check out Easy Rider at some point. I am interested in that movie. Stephen Dorff, who I like in the first Blade with Wesley Snipes, and would like to check out The Gate from 1986 or 87 if I'm not mistaken. And Charles Dance, who I also like as the villain in Last Action Hero with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Now, features listed below are interview with actress Barbara Crampton, interview with director Stuart Gordon, and interview with composer Colin Towns, art of the Space Truckers, interview with art director Simon Lamont, and last but not least is a trailer. Now, I think there are some more special features that this Blu-ray didn't name out, but I do like some of Stuart Gordon's work, specifically some of his H.P. Lovecraft adaptations, like Reanimator and From Beyond, as well as some movies I have not seen, like Dolls and Robot Jox. Interesting movies, but I have yet to see them at some point. Another limited run title I got from Shout Factory is The Getaway, with Alec Baldwin and Kim Basinger, who were once married at the time, but long before they divorced, and James Woods, along with Michael Madsen, Jennifer Tilly, Richard Farnsworth, and is directed by Roger Donaldson, who, if it'll show me what movies he's directed, he has directed The Bounty, which is an underrated epic drama, I think, with Anthony Hopkins and Mel Gibson, which featured an underrated soundtrack by Vangelis, if I pronounce the composer's name, as well as other movies like No Way Out, underrated thriller with Kevin Costner and Gene Hackman, and Species, the very first Species, also starring Michael Madsen, as well as Marg Helgenberger and Forrest Whitaker and Ben Kingsley. Almost forgot the name. Now, I don't think I've seen trailers. I don't think I've seen any trailers of this movie. Which, like I said, you should always check out the trailer to know what you're getting yourself into, because blind buys aren't the greatest idea, but I've seen a little portion of the original Getaway with Steve McQueen, so both premises are equally interesting, so what else could I say? Next up is another title which surprisingly hasn't gone out of print yet, but it is a Blu-ray DVD combo pack of a double feature of obscure sequels to Scanners. You have Scanners 2, The New Order, and Scanners 3, The Takeover. Now, I'm not sure if it includes any trailers, but this doesn't have much any special features listed on the back. So, I have seen trailers for these before, and they are interesting. I do like the first Scanners movie. So yeah, next up is an out-of-print 4-pack DVD, which have been recalled at some point because of a specific movie which Sound Factory thought they got the license to through the MGM library, but another company owns said movie called Schizoid, aka A Lizard in a Woman's Skin, which is which is the reason why it got recalled and had the movie replaced with a different movie, and that is 4 all-night horror marathon Scream Factory pack with Schizoid, which I have not seen, Godsend, which I have not seen, The Outing, which I have not seen, and The Vagrant, which is the reason why I got this. Though I'm aware there is a Blu-ray release of either from Scream Factory or Arrow Video, but I got this for an affordable price, late $20-something or $30, but it's better than $40 or $50, so this one's out of print, so I thought, why not get this pack? I'm sure some of these movies have their own specific trailer. I gotta find a better place for those titles before they fall. Next up is another limited run title, which I found for a reasonable price in Zia, and it is a Roger Corman produced movie from the early 90s, Yep, it's 1990. From Roger Corman through his New Horizons production name, Concord New Horizons. It was once included in a double feature DVD pack along with the first Terror Within, and must I say it is a worthy find for a reasonable price, and that is Dead Space. Almost got mixed up with the names. And no, this has nothing to do with the Dead Space game series from EA Games. nor does it have anything to do with the remake. But special features include both versions of the movie, including an extended cut and audio commentary of the original cut with director Fred Gallo or Gallo, depending on the person's. Never mind. I just hope I'm not butchering the name. And forgive me for the glare. And last feature listed is a trailer. So yeah, it was a great find. This movie has been sold for higher prices on eBay. And it's better than nothing. Even better than paying over $30 or $40 or $50 per copy. Next up is another title from Zia, and the trailer this from way back looked really interesting, and that is The Raven with John Cusack, which, if I remember correctly, he plays as Edgar Allan Poe, and I think he's solving a murder. Though the plot summary on the back of this Blu-ray copy doesn't tell me much I needed to know. But it's got its own set of features, which I won't name them all for pacing reasons. Next three titles I got from Amazon are from Kino Lorber. First up are two of Kino Lorber's titles they released under their new Kino Cult line, which is the new MGM Midnight Movies movie line, to be exact. However, I don't know how would I call him, but first title I got is that was once released as a double feature, double billed with Fruit of the Gods, which really don't care for. But I've once reviewed this way back, which is no longer on my channel for a specific reason. But that is Frogs with Ray Milland and a very young Sam Elliott. Features listed on the back are audio commentary with both film historians, David Del Valle and Dan Marino, son of NFL legend, according to the back. If I could get this to focus. Wrong button. I don't know how the focus slider works, but you'll have to forgive me for the inconvenience. Just trying to work the controls, which I haven't been utilizing much. Next up is another title that was once released by Scream Factory, but has been out of print for years. And that is Squirm. Now, in all seriousness, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I personally have a soft spot. I do enjoy it for what it is. Now, in all retrospective, some of the special effects don't hold up by today's standards, but you gotta admit that one scene where a bunch of worms were digging through this man's face was really breathtaking. So, yeah, regardless how it may not hold up by today's standards, I still enjoy for what it is. Now, features listed on the back are what's been listed in the original Blu-ray release from Scream Factory. Are either listed are listed here, as well as some features that were on the original DVD have not been listed are still here. I have seen it before, and yes, I still enjoy it, like I said. The only new special feature that has been added here is another audio commentary, but with film critics and authors Lee Gambin and John Harrison. So yeah. And fun fact, this was one of Rick Baker's earlier work before he went on to work on other movies like An American Werewolf in London. So yeah. Next up is another movie that I have also seen and got from Amazon along with other fellow Kino Lorber titles. Pardon the burp. Next up is No Way Out with Kevin Costner and Gene Hackman. And also Sean Young's in there. In which, spoiler alert, she gets killed off soon. And then and then he and his man, I really gotta double check the plot summary. Where is Gene Hackman plays the Secretary of Defense who accidentally pushes Sean Young's character, who is the mistress and Lieutenant Commander Tom Farrell's secret lover, which Farrell is played by Kevin Costner, and the Secretary of Defense's aide starts forming a cover-up scheme to protect his boss, in which he would most likely frame Farrell for the murder, labeling him as a Yuri, which is a KGB spy, if you don't know what it is. But it's basically a murder turned conspiracy plot in which Kevin Costner's character is trying to solve, which is all you need to know. Part of the stutter. Special features listed on the back are audio commentaries, one with the director and the other with the film historian and writer-director, along with an interview with the director and a trailer. Really solid thriller, in my opinion. Alright, now that I got all the games out of the way, movies out of the way, let's get on to the games. And I have a bunch of games that I have yet to show you. If I can get them all out of the bag. I got a little stack of PS1 games, 5 of them. Well, I take it back. There's 6 PS1 games in my stack, 1 PS2 game, 5 PS3 games, and 2 PS4 games. One of those PS4 games are from Limited Run, and plus a Nintendo Switch game. So, if I remember correctly, I got this from GameStop, and that is Splatoon 2 for the Nintendo Switch collection. Alright, let's get on to the PS1 games. First up I got from Zia is Skydiving Extreme from Natsume. This is now, from what I could tell you, it is sort of a blind buy, but doesn't hurt to give skydiving game a chance. Pretty interesting. Next up is one I think I've shown you, but I for some reason it didn't include a game. But that is Vigilante 8. Long story short, I thought I had the game, but turns out I just had the case. So this didn't include a manual either, but so I had to get them separately. So yeah. Real happy to have that in my collection. Really gotta get the sequel. And I gotta be honest, they are going a little bit expensive in my opinion. So, better find it for cheap or else. Next up is, for the Wipeout collection, is Wipeout 3. Now again, I have played the first Wipeout game along with its HD remakes a while back, but I have not played any of the sequels, whether it be PS1, PS2, or PSP. Can't be too sure of it myself. Next up, I also got from Zia, and that is RC Helicopter Remote Control Simulation. I got this because it's interesting. D3 Publisher. Didn't think they'd publish a PS1 game, but it don't matter. Next up, if I remember correctly, one I got from Fallout Games, and that is based on a movie that I haven't seen in years as a kid. And I did not play this, but I do remember the commercial for it. And that is Atlantis, the Lost Empire. Now, as a kid, I remembered it being a little interesting, and as for the movie, I think I remember liking it. So I really gotta give the movie a chance. Maybe before I give this game a chance. Last PS1 game I also got from Fallout Games, and that is XCOM UFO Defense. I got this because it's for the early PS1 game collection, and it is a strategy-based defense game. So, most likely willing to give that one a chance. Now on to the PS2 games, and I think I got this from Fallout Games. I have the receipt here. That's from a retro GameStop on Buckeye. I did not get this in Buckeye. I think I got this either at Fallout Games or Zia. I can't be too sure of it myself. But next up on my stack is Delta Force Black Hawk Down. I remember playing this on the Xbox when my brother rented it way back when there's Blockbuster Video or Hollywood Video. And it includes a manual, thankfully. We'll like to give this one a chance at some point for the first-person shooter collection. Now on to the PS3 games. Pardon me, just got distracted by a worn-out case. But aside from that, next up, I got this from either Fallout Games or Zia for certain, and that is Conflict Denied Arms. Now again, this is a blind buy, but I really don't care. It's for the first-person shooter collection. Next up, if I recall, I think I got this from Fallout Games. The receipt will tell me. Yeah, got it from Fallout Games, if I remember correctly, for sure. And that is Deadly Premonition, the director's cut. I remember my brother playing this game back on his Xbox 360, and from what I've seen, it is a pretty weird game. It looks pretty janky, but still, it is interesting. We'll like to give this one a chance at some point. I could care less about what people say. But moving on. Next up, I got this from a retro GameStop on Buckeye, and that is the Lego Movie video game. I have not seen the Lego Movie, but I heard it's available in 3D Blu-ray, so we'd like to give the movie a chance. If I could find a 3D Blu-ray copy of it, and maybe give that game a chance at some point. I might not be able to stream it for copyright reasons. If this game includes any full motion clips from the movie. Maybe I might broadcast it as a Let's Play. Hopefully edit out some movie clips for copyright reasons. The last PS3 game I got from GameStop, a retro GameStop to be specific, that is Painkiller, Hell and Damnation. Now, from what it tells me in the back, it is a HD remake of the first two Painkiller games. And I got this for $50, so managed to snag it before somebody catches it and bumps up the price. I really don't understand. But for some reason, this back is not telling me what resolution it's available, whether it be 720 or 1080p. Wait a second. Almost forgot this one. Next up, last PS3 I got here is one I got from Zia, and that is home front. I remember my brother playing the multiplayer mode of this game on his Xbox 360. So, for the first-person shooter collection, can't argue. Done deal. Alright, last two games I have here are PS4 games. One I got from Walmart, that is Ghostbusters Spirits Unleashed, from Elphonic, who developed Friday the 13th, the game, for PS4 and Xbox One and Nintendo Switch, not to mention, along with Predator Hunting Grounds for PS4, and also got released for PS5 and Xbox One at some point recently, which you've seen me streamed it once or twice. And speaking of Predator, what really baffles me about it is how they managed to delist some of the DLC, specifically the Dutch DLCs and Isabel, and not re-release it on said platforms. Like, I really don't understand why. Why couldn't they release it? Is it some kind of licensing agreement that they did not agree on? It really baffles me. If Ilphonic can resolve that issue and get those DLCs relisted back on the PlayStation Store or Steam storefront, and get them re-released on PS5 and Xbox One, it would be great. So, but aside from that rant, really would like to give this one a shot at some point. Maybe stream it on Twitch for copyright reasons. I really don't want to get a copyright claim if I were to stream it on YouTube. Last game I have here is, like I said, is from Limited Run, and that is Clock Tower Rewind. I pre-ordered this from their website. So, yeah. This is the original cover art. And on the back is the new cover art for their game. And this is from Capcom and Sunsoft, and has been remastered or remade for current hardware by WayForward. And I have been interested in this game for a very long time, ever since I was made aware of it less than a decade ago. So, it'll be interesting. Now, sorry if it took way longer than I intended. I know I've been holding off on this collection update for a little while, but like I said, sometimes better late than never. I hope you enjoy this collection update. If any of those movies jog your memory and you've seen them, feel free to let me know what you think of them in the comments section down below. And if you remember playing any of those games, again, I expect you to do the same. And I'm really excited to play this game now that I have it. I really don't understand what took Limited Run so long to get this shipped. But, no big deal. Again, hope you enjoy. Take care, and I'll see you guys next time. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.